Am I the a-hole?
I'm not. You might be. They might be. And we will be the judge today. We are playing another round. Am I the a-hole for having no TV at dinner? I, 31 female, live out of state and flew home for my mom's birthday to surprise her. She was away on holiday with a friend and was arriving home on her birthday, so I arranged to take a day off, come home a day early to organize cooking, dinner, and her cake. Dad goes off to the airport and they both come home and I surprise her with a dinner, cake, and a present. Dad has done nothing for her birthday, no present, nothing. When Mom arrives, she's happy I am there to surprise her and we sit down and have dinner and wine and hear about her trip away. She even has gifts for us from her holiday. As we are still catching up and having wine, Dad stands up, turns off the dinner jazz playing through the TV and puts the game on. Anxiety runs through me and tell him this is not acceptable and to turn it off and come back to the table. It's funny that you're like telling your dad that, like you're being like the parent. He sulks and says, no one cares about what I want, it's all about you. We continue to sit and chat before dessert and a few minutes later he leaves the table and does it again, removing himself to sit at the couch and put the game on full volume. This angered me and I began swearing and asking him how he can treat his wife like this on her birthday, how he had done absolutely nothing for her special day, and how he would never watch TV during a celebration with his extended family. He argued back saying that picking her up from the airport, which is 15 minutes away, was enough, that no one cares about me or what I want, it's always your way. Mom is so down at this point in the marriage, she even began to agree with him saying he did do something, he picked me up from the airport. Am I the a-hole? Should I have compromised and accepted him watching the game during a dinner I arranged and flew home for? This is a lot more than having no TV at dinner. This is way more. I think if anyone should be questioning if they're the a-hole or not, I think it's Dad. I think it's disrespectful to just get up during a family dinner and go turn on the TV, especially when someone's like, hey, I arranged this whole thing, I would like to keep catching up with you, you know? I don't know, I get it. I get why you'd be upset by that. I'd probably be upset too. Am I the a-hole for swearing at my mom? Well, that's a risky game to play. My mom is of the belief that everything that happens in my life and my sister's life is her business. Nosy is about as nice of a word as I can describe it. I'm 26. I've been married for a year to my wife, also 26. We dated 2 years, we're engaged for 1, just surpassed the 1-year anniversary, and I've never been happier. Congratulations, I love love. All my mom can see and talk about is Camille's, my wife, really put on weight from when you two first started dating. Okay, none of your business. I tried brushing it off, telling her we have it handled, no worries. As my wife's continued to put on weight, the calls, texts, getting pulled aside at family things started getting more frequent. I told her straight up, don't worry about it. My mom, who was a nurse at one point, but stopped back in the 90s, does this. Well, I'm a nurse, so my daughter-in-law's obesity is my concern card. Last weekend, we were hanging out, my folks, myself, my sister, and Camille. My mom goes, anyone want to go on a run tomorrow? Camille passes, and my mom goes, I really think you should go. It'd be good for you. Camille obviously figured out what my mom was getting at and asked her if she thought she was fat. My mom dodged the question and said that she thinks going on a run could set a good trend for Camille. Camille storms outside and goes and sits in our car. I shouted at my mom that she was a effing moron for starting the argument. My mom said she was trying to be helpful, told me to stop yelling. I told her she could help us by not worrying about Camille's weight. Am I the a-hole? First of all, you should never be commenting about somebody else's body, especially like that. And 2, they're 26. You don't have to, it's not even her daughter, number 1, but to be like,
oh, I used to be a nurse.
They're adults. They will make decisions for themselves. They will make the decision of their lifestyle and their bodies, and they will live with whatever consequences are to follow, if that is a thing. But I don't know, I don't think so. Not that I think you should call your mom an effing moron, but I also don't think her weight is any of your business. Or anyone's business, as a matter of fact. Am I an a-hole for not letting my neighbor use my garbage can? Ugh. Ow. Ow! I got a pinch in my leg. Hold on. Readjusting my shorts, everybody. We keep it real. Behind the scenes footage. Okay, for context, I live in a basement apartment and the top level is a house. I've lived here since April with nobody in the house up top, but a large family moved in about 2 weeks ago. I got home from work last week and there was a bag of trash by my trash can. I knew it was the neighbors. I picked it up and put it in my trash can. No big deal, but kind of annoying. They put it over their fence onto my side of the driveway. I come home from work later in the week and my bin has been left open with 2 big bags of trash that weren't mine. I simply removed the bags and set them on the upstairs neighbor's side of the fence. Well, today I got home from work and neighbor lady starts screaming at me about why didn't you just knock on my door to tell me you were moving the trash instead of putting it in my yard, calling me a biatch and all the likes. I simply said she could have just not put her trash in my trash can, but hers is full. I don't care. I pay my own trash bill and you shouldn't have felt entitled to dump your stuff in my trash can. Am I the a-hole for putting her trash on her side of the yard without speaking to her first? No, not in my opinion. That is so bold of you to assume like, oh, mine's full, I'm just gonna use yours. Especially if you are paying like trash bills. Like all you had to do was say, hey, mine's full. Do you mind if I like throw some in yours since yours isn't full? Like just communicate. Communicate. Like the same way you're saying you should have talked to me, you should have talked to me. Talking goes a long way sometimes. Water break. Cheers. I've never read the bottom of that. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take care of my roommate's kids? Right off the bat, I want to say no, but we don't know. So for context, my roommate is also my ex. Okay, cherry on top. We've been living together for 5 years, and in that time, oh my God, you live with your ex?
She got married!
But her and her husband couldn't afford the rent and things without me.
Oh my God.
You all live together? When we started dating, she had 3 kids, none of them mine, and I would help out a lot with them whenever I could. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Why am I apologizing? Burps are normal, and I said, excuse me. I'm so Canadian. The water just is coming back up. She had me help homeschool and basic needs for taking care of them. I didn't have a problem with that until it started to turn into her napping all the time or smoking some green and taking some eddies. And I was the only one to watch, teach, and raise the kids. Needless to say, I eventually blew up at her because anytime I would bring it up, she would blow me off or she would help for a bit and then stop again. I ended things with her but stayed in the house because at the time we were in the pandemic, but in that span of 6 months, she got married and her husband was a nice enough guy. But she started to yell at me that I wasn't doing enough to help or contribute with the kids. And when I would try and make peace and help with them, suddenly I am overstepping my bounds. So I've since told her I'm not doing school with them anymore or watch them for any reason. I can't help but feel bad for the kids because they haven't done any school in the last 10 months and the youngest is so far behind that if he went to public school, he wouldn't be able to understand things at all. Should I buckle and start helping with them again or stand my ground on the matter? I can't really afford to go anywhere else, but living here has really started to weigh on me. Am I the a-hole? I don't think you're an a-hole at all. I really don't. I mean, you're not their mother. Now they have a new father figure in their life if they're married that can help out. I love that you still care about the kids so much even after you're not together. I just don't see this being like a sustainable living situation. I feel like it's sticky, it's messy, she's used to your help, you're not together anymore. You want to help because you love the kids. I don't think it's sustainable. I think you got to just figure out a way to get out of there and move on. Am I the a-hole for having my daughter take her sister's test? Fix title. Okay. I have 2 daughters in high school. Sam is an A student and Emma is a B and C student. Sam has basically been making fun of Emma for her lower grades. We punish her when it happens, but she just goes back to it every time. Now, the difference between the 2 girls is that Sam takes the general classes, where Emma takes the college classes. For example, Sam, hold on, I have an itch in my ankle. Oh, that feels so good. Ow. You know when an itch is so strong that it's almost painful? That was so random. For example, Sam took biology as her science and Emma took college physics, so very different. Summer is here and the final grades came in. Sam got all A's and when she saw she did better, she started the I am smarter comments again. That's not nice. I had enough at this point. I grabbed one of Emma's old tests. It was a geometry test.
Geometry?
It was a geometry test since Sam took geometry this year and sat her down and had her do it. Long story short, she was in tears, and then I explained again how grades don't measure how smart you are, that she is in much easier classes compared to Emma. I think it finally got through to her. My wife was informed of what happened before she came home, and she was mad about how I could do that to Sam. She took her to get ice cream to make up for it while me and Emma are still at home. Oh, good cop, bad cop happening. Parents are not on the same page. Honestly, I think that was just I'm not a parent, and I know everyone has a different style of parenting out there. I think that is a very good life lesson. I don't know. Like, you didn't yell at her, you didn't punish her, you said, oh, okay, well, if you think you're smarter and you're gonna keep saying that, here's one of her tests, go ahead. I don't know, I feel like that's a very teachable lesson, and especially because you're saying grades don't measure how smart you are. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going not an a-hole. I kind of respect it. You know what? I always went back and forth with these reading videos because I'm like, do people really want to hear me read these stories when they could just read it if it was like on a screen? But then I get those comments sometimes of people saying, I have a really difficult time reading. So thank you so much for reading it out loud to me. And ever since I saw a few of those comments, I'm like, I don't care. Even if it's for one person out there, I'm gonna do it. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food on his birthday and getting him banned from a restaurant? Edit, on his birthday really should have spelled check. Oh, it said and I just naturally read on because I was just saying the sentence. I, 18, female, have been dating my boyfriend John, 20, male, for a little under a year. We have a pretty toxic-free relationship, but there's quite a bit of tension when it comes to me being vegetarian. I've been vegetarian since 11 and I have very strict morals around it. The one thing John has a problem with is me refusing to spend my money on meat. Ever since I started making my own money, I swore to myself that I would never spend a cent of it on meat. On our dates, we usually split the bill and sometimes he pays for it all. I told him if he orders something meat-free, I'd happily pay for both of us, but he never does. When he pays for my food, it's when I've spent money on the activity, normally concerts and festivals. That's me paying $120 on tickets and him spending maybe $50 on food. Okay. His birthday was a few days ago when we went out for dinner at his favorite fancy restaurant. He got the most expensive steak they had along with a side salad and a bottle of wine. When we finished our food, I asked the waiter to split the bill and John looked at me shocked. He asked if I was joking and I said no. Then he told me he thought I was going to pay since it was his birthday and he didn't budget for the meal. I asked him why he thought I'd pay since I'd been very clear about my rule, but he couldn't give me a reason other than it being his birthday. I told him I'd pay for the wine and the side salad, but he'd need to pay for the steak. He was furious with me and stormed off to the bathroom. I paid for my meal, the wine and the salad, and waited for him to come back. He didn't. After waiting for 20 minutes, I left. I found him sitting on a bench near where we parked the car. I asked him why he left and reminded him he needed to pay. He looked shocked. Oh my God. When I said that and asked me if I didn't pay, I told him I paid for everything but the meat, and he lost it. He started yelling at me, telling me I was selfish, that I need to grow up. I stayed calm and told him he needed to go back and pay. He scoffed and walked away. I ended up driving home without him. Now he's saying it's my fault that he can't show his face to his favorite restaurant since he dined and ditched. It's a pretty small restaurant, so he'd 100% be recognized and kicked out. So am I the a-hole? Like, kind of. Like, I feel like, yeah, like, oh, he's banned now and you didn't pay. Like, even if you paid for the birthday and then, like, in this moment, you pay and say, okay, we'll talk about it later, you can pay me back. Like, to dine and dash over that? I don't know. Of course, I'm not a vegetarian, so it's easy for me to sit here and say, like, girl, it's his birthday, you're not eating the meat. Just, you know, it's nice to pay for the meal on their birthday. However, I just feel like you guys have to be on the same page from day one. If this is something you want to sustain in this relationship, like if you guys move in together, you get married, you don't want to ever spend a dime on meat. So then if you guys have meat in the house, he'll have to buy, like, how's it gonna work? Y'all need to be on the same page when it comes to that. I don't know. Big miscommunication. I probably would have just, like, Like, I get your morals. I'm not spending a dime on meat. I don't support it. Listen, hey, that's up to you. I'm gonna eat the meat, but that's up to you. But I feel like you just need to be on the same page. And in that moment, I probably would have just said like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna dine and ditch. It's his birthday, I'm gonna pay, and we can discuss this later, and maybe so it won't ever happen again. But I'm not about to do all that. Am I the a-hole for taking my girlfriend's drinks out of the fridge to prove a point? This one just sounds really petty. My girlfriend, female 20, and I, male 22, have recently moved into our first shared apartment together. Since this is the first time for both of us living on our own, my parents offered that they will pay for our fridge. Is my camera? Oh my God, I saw a light and I thought it was dying. I'm like, I just charged this whole battery. My parents own a rather expensive fridge that has a built-in ice cube dispenser. For the lack of better suggestions from my girlfriend, I decided I want exactly the same fridge as my parents for our apartment. My girlfriend, however, was against it because, in her opinion, extras like that ice cube dispenser are a waste of money and it'd be rude to ask my parents to pay for it. She said we should know our place and go for something more modest, and that she wouldn't use the ice cube dispenser anyway. If I want cold drinks, I should just put my drink in the fridge beforehand. She never said what kind of fridge she would like though, and so in the end she dropped it and my parents bought us the expensive fridge when we moved in. It's been a while now and I frequently use the ice cube dispenser while she just keeps all her drinks in the fridge and takes up loads of space. So yesterday when I tried to fit in the other groceries I bought, I took all of her drinks, so she will have to use the ice cube dispenser now if she wants a cold drink. When she found out, she called me a petty idiot and hasn't been talking to me since. Am I the a-hole? This is so stupid. Like literally I would have been like, you are such a petty idiot. That is exactly what I would have said. Y'all are trying to cause an issue where it doesn't need to be an issue. It's a freaking fridge. If she doesn't want to use the ice cube dispenser, whatever. If you do, kudos to you. Who cares? Y'all are fighting over some freaking ice cubes in a fridge. Oh my God. Yeah, like that was so petty and unnecessary. Maybe like I get being reasonable. Like we need space for our groceries. Don't have 9 cups in the fridge. But like, give me a break. You did that on purpose. Petty. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be loaning my boyfriend $2,000? That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money to be loaning anybody. My boyfriend will not get a job. Well, alrighty then. He said he won't be a slave to
Nah.
Never in my life could I date someone like that. He said he would be He said he won't be a slave to capitalism and his parents send him about $1,000 a month. He also says he has ADHD paralysis and just can't get a job or therapist for that matter. I pay the rent, then I request him. Wait, you pay the rent? Oh my God, what are you doing, girl? I pay the rent, then I request him on Venmo. At one point, he owed me 3 months rent plus other expenses, so I set a boundary for our relationship. I don't want to be in the position where he owes me money. It makes me uncomfortable and I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Good for you. Yesterday, I told him it wasn't okay that he owed me $2,000 because I had set a boundary and he agreed upon it. He absolutely blew up and started getting super upset at me. He told me he couldn't guarantee any income and that he would never do this to me if I needed it, which felt super emotionally manipulative. We just signed another 13-month lease together. Oh God, so I started panicking. I'm still pretty nervous about this and pretty upset. The reason I think I could be the a-hole is because he says he's actually completely unable to make money and I have money. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the whole situation, but I'm not buying it. And you are getting involved with someone who has told you, I won't be a slave to capitalism and my parents send me $1,000 a month and I'm not getting a job. So if that's all out in the open, you know exactly the type of partner you're with. And is that a life partner you want? Does that match your wants and your lifestyle and what you need? By the sounds of it,
No.
I think you should be the hell on your way, in my opinion. But hey, let me know what you guys think. This is all for open discussion. All my videos are simply, and obviously, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know the people. We don't know their mental illness. We don't know anything that went on in their life. Maybe they have other issues we don't know about. It's all an open conversation from information we're receiving. That's it. That's all, y'all. People get so upset in the comments like, you have no idea. It's like, of course I don't. I don't know them the same way you don't know me. We don't know. We're just having a conversation. Can't do that anymore. You cannot have a conversation in 2023. Because if it doesn't match someone else's opinion, they're offended. Am I the a-hole for eating leftovers in the fridge when I got home from work last night? Oh, bold move. I'm gonna read this, but I'm leaning towards a-hole. There's a bit more to it than the title says. I worked the closing shift at work last night and so ended up getting home around 1:30. When I got home, I was feeling a bit hungry and decided to see what we had in the fridge as far as leftovers go from dinner last night. I grabbed a container that had some fried rice and chicken in it, not labeled, exact same type of plastic container that leftovers usually go into. There was no indication whatsoever that it belonged to anybody else, so I threw it into the microwave and ate it, washed the container, and went to bed. Cut to about 20 minutes ago, my mother pounds on my door, waking me up, then barges in and asks if I ate the leftovers from the fridge last night.
Excuse me.
I say yes. To which she responds, thanks a-hole, that was going to be my lunch for today. Then slams the door immediately after I apologize and say I didn't know. Now I feel really guilty for not just grabbing something else and eating that instead, but I'm really torn because at the same time, there was absolutely nothing indicating that it was hers and I can't read mine, so I had no clue she was going to eat it for lunch today. Am I the a-hole? I'm actually really curious what you guys think about this. Like, in a family setting, that would be really, I have lived on my own since I was 17, so in a family setting, that would be really hard. It's probably best to mark your stuff so that there's no confusion ever, so that this doesn't happen. But maybe you forget to leave something. Like, does no one ever eat leftovers unless you ask? Like if you're home at late, like don't eat leftovers because you don't know if someone needs it. Like I'm curious, tell me, what is the leftover situation in like a family setting? I never really had to deal with that, like growing up. I don't even remember even having leftovers because we ate all the dinner. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. On that note, I am getting out of here. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy, and I will see you tomorrow.